Today you're going to learn about a style that's bold, rugged, and very Americana. We're talking about the iconic Western design style. If for some reason you haven't heard of it, it's the Old West romanticized in visual form. Muted colors, distressed type, vector artwork, and a vintage quality that's somehow both rugged and a bit mystical. And in this video, we're going to get into the core characteristics so that you can become a master of the classic Western look. But first, let's get into some more context around it and kind of talk about where it came from. Western design as we know it took shape in the mid to late 1800s during the America's frontier expansion. This was the era of railroads, saloons, traveling shows, and the gold rush. And it was also the beginning of mass printing in the United States. Imagery for Wild West shows, wanted posters, and advertisements were posted everywhere that needed attention. For some extra context, on the other side of the world, Europe was deep into the Victorian era. They were opting for more ornate, high contrast typefaces like Dido and Bodoni. Their style was a lot more elegant and suited for fashion ads, books, and more formal signs and branding, but that didn't really work for what the American West needed. It needed to feel a little bit more rugged and raw. So this style was pretty much created by printmakers and sign painters. Functionally, it was meant to be eye-catching and easy to reproduce with woodblock printing and letterpress, but culturally it became a visual language for the Wild West itself. And when you think of the old Wild West, this is the design style that most definitely comes to mind. Today we see Western design styles in some likely and unlikely places. Brands might use it when they want to tap into that rustic, vintage American heritage feel. Think like breweries, barbecue restaurants, or outdoor gear companies. It's a guaranteed way to capture that handcrafted or rustic, vintage American look. It's also huge in entertainment branding, like summer festivals. And looping back to Wes Anderson, it was used in the cover art for Asteroid City, as you can see here. The font specifically is perfect, bold, chunky letters with thick drop shadow. And this font style has actually spread to social media a lot too. Creators are using it for text on their reels. Whether or not it stemmed from this, I'm not sure, but they're the same, so it's not really far-fetched. In general, Western is also fantastic for POD. T-shirts and posters specifically are currently really trendy in this style, and I've seen a lot of people getting really creative with it and adding their own modern twist. For example, I've seen a lot of designs in the Western style, but the color palette's built around maybe pink. Maybe this came from the Barbie movie. I don't know, but those pink cowboy boots or the cowboy hat are on a lot of merch with some more feminine and magical looking decorative elements. So that's a fun twist, which kind of creates this completely new style in itself, but it's interesting to see how you can easily put your own twist on something that's so classic and make a unique product or even an entire brand identity. So now that we have some background, let's talk about the characteristics. These are essentially the steps or elements you need to know to design cohesively in this style, not just throw some elements together. Number one, we're going to start with some typography. Western typefaces are the heartbeat of this style. They're bold, wide set, and often textured. They have heavy strokes, so they're visible from a distance. But there's also a more ornate cinematic style that you see in posters like this one. It blends that rugged frontier look with elegant flourishes, swashes, curved terminals, and decorative accents that give it almost a Victorian feel. This style isn't strictly Old West printing press, but rather how the Wild West has been reimagined in Hollywood posters and retro revival design. Text borders and drop shadows were and are frequently used as well, together or independently. These weren't used at the time of the style's creation. Obviously, their printing techniques couldn't do this at the time, but these text effects were used in those classic cowboy shows. And a dark drop shadow is a classic Wes Anderson look. It gives designs a retro vibe like the Wild West, but 60s Hollywood film set. If you want to design in this style today, I recommend you start with a bold slab serif or decorative display font, then add texture overlays or shadow effects to make it feel more authentic and worn. And if you're wondering where to find Western fonts, just jump into Kittl and search Western in the fonts menu, and you'll just find an absolute ton there. There's a bunch of different styles as well, so you can go with that classic one like the Adventurer font family that's true to the OG Wild West printing style, or maybe something more retro and cinematic like the ornate poster fonts used in the modern West films. There's quite a few more decorative options in here as well, so you could even mix and match. Second, texture is everything. Western design rarely looks clean or pristine. It has grit. It feels like it's been sitting in the sun or or in a barn for years. This comes from distressed textures, roughened edges, and muted color overlays. To recreate this digitally is super easy, and if you're in Kittl, you can do it in just a few clicks. So you'll just want to layer in paper or grunge textures for that lived-in look. Check out these textures in Kittl. Any of these would work beautifully, or you can even layer in more than one. This trick is quite simple to make a design look weathered. A lot of times I'll have a design and it's just not really feeling right, not feeling cohesive and baked together, so I find that the texture is kind of what allows you to put it in the oven and bake all the layers and ingredients together and have a design come out. Next up, ornate borders and frames. So one of the things Western design did borrow from the Victorian style was the love of decorative framing. And if you want to learn more about Victorian style and get a really in-depth look at what design was doing during this time period, we have a video on that link below. But anyway, you'll often see posters and signage from this area with intricate flourishes or boxy borders that contain the main content. Picture like the boxy border on a wanted poster, and then the more lavish hand-drawn borders around text on a label. Like these here have some Victorian era vibes. Definitely check out that video to see what I'm talking about. And you can mimic this easily in your designs. Just incorporate some vintage style corner ornaments or geometric frames to enclose your typography or imagery. I'd actually recommend you find some inspiration from Pinterest. Just copy that photo and then just paste it right into Kittl. Then go to the elements panel and scroll through the ornaments to find some graphics you like and build a border from there. Or if you want a border already made, you can just search border and find lots of options there as well. Number 4, illustration elements. Western design often includes imagery like stars, horseshoes, pistols, ropes, cacti, and of course, the classic horse and cowboy. And maybe even a canyon or mountains, the sun and moon, stars, anything that makes you feel like you're out in the West, alone, riding your horse. These symbols became part of the visual shorthand for the Wild West. They can be simple silhouettes or more detailed illustrations as well. Just depends on the application. Again, this is super simple to recreate, especially in Kittl, because there's an entire graphics library of all of this stuff is in there. Just search Western and use vector icons or hand-drawn illustrations to match your project's tone. And by that, I mean keeping your composition consistent between the graphics and your typography, the weight and the different strokes of the illustration to make everything cohesive. Now let's talk about color palettes. I talked about this briefly earlier. Western design tends to lean on earth tones, so deep browns, tans, muted reds, and dusty yellows. And these are paired with black and off-whites for contrast. These colors came from the materials of the time: wood, leather, aged paper, and you can see super clearly if you look at any reference image on Pinterest or Kittl. Little pro tip for you: find a reference image with a palette that you like, drop that into Kittl, and then just use the eyedropper tool to pull the colors out of the image, or use the color palette tool to create an entire color palette just from the image itself. This is a super easy way to create an authentic Western palette that's guaranteed to look good and cohesive. And lastly, number 6, the layout. Western layouts often feel busy but balanced. Information was packed in, whether it was a show poster or a product label. It never felt chaotic because of its clear hierarchy. Large, bold headings, supportive subheadings, and smaller details created a visual flow amongst the design. You can recreate this by working in a grid and paying close attention to the scale of your text. So you can just make your main text huge and let the details fill in the edges like supporting decoration. For print designs, it's very common to have a window shape or a transformed text with imagery just below it, filling out the middle, and then maybe some more text on the bottom. For this especially, you don't need to start from scratch. There are tons of professionally made Western templates in Kittl that already use this hierarchy, as you can see here. So all you have to do is transfer the text to your design and customize it. Just search Western in the template library, or you can get more specific and search Western poster or logo. And again, if you found an image on Pinterest that you like, you can use that too. Just transfer it over and build your layout on top of it. This is just going to save you a lot of trial and error time and help teach you the layouts faster. So that's Western design. Whether you're designing a Wild West inspired label or logo, or a poster for a country music festival, or making some Western themed tees for your POD shop, I hope you found this information helpful. And I have to say it, if you're not already signed up to Kittl and want to check out the Western templates and graphics you saw today, or browse through the rest of them, you can sign up for free with just an email. Do it now. Or if you're an experienced designer with subscriptions for multiple design tools and resources you want to just cut down to one, we have a promo code for you in the description to get a percentage off a pro Kittl plan. I mean, imagine being able to get rid of like 3 different subscriptions today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this, and drop a comment below and tell us what you think about the Western style. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.